Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's session. So we will start our Dhamma talk now. Today's talk will be from the Sutta Nipāta, the second chapter, Sutta number 13. So this Proper Wandering Sutta was given by the Buddha during the occasion of the Great Gathering. The suttas we have is Mahasaya Sutta, where all, that means the heavenly beings, from the 10,000 world systems gather in front of the Buddha. Okay? And then, after, except for those of the two spheres that didn't come, they couldn't come because they were not able to. Okay, it's not in a condition to be able to listen to a Buddha's talks. Okay, so all the devas came, and then after that, the Buddha was accompanied by the Sangha, who were all arahants, and then and then the Buddha gave the Mahasaya Sutta. Basically, the Buddha was like announcing to the bhikkhus, these devas, these yakas have come. These devas have come. These beings have come. Like that. And then all the devas were very happy with the way and the sequence and the way in which the Buddha also gave a few suttas according to the inclinations of the devas and beings that over there. Okay, so inclinations we have in the Visuddhimagga. There are a few inclinations stated in the Visuddhimagga. So we have one of love or greedy temperament, and anger temperament, delusional temperament, investigative temperament, etc. Okay, there are 6. Faith. So at that time, the Buddha gave a few suttas. So this Proper Wandering Sutta, Samaribhajaniya Sutta, is one of the suttas that the Buddha gave for those devas who have greedy or lustful temperaments. Okay. And I think today is just a introduction and story. The origin. We'll talk about the origin of this sutta. Okay. And maybe later, if we have time, we can go through the verses. We have a quick, a brief go through for the verses. Then we may, in the further talks, we may try to explain and understand the verses one by one. And then after that, see how we can apply them in our daily lives. Okay, even if we have not reached those exalted states. Okay, let us see. So in order to talk about the origin of this sutta, we have to talk about commentary gives the explanation about the ancient beginnings of the origins of the Sakyan people and the Koḷiyan people. Okay? So as we know, the Buddha was before becoming a Buddha, then reborn in that last life. He was reborn in the royal Sakyan family. A Sakyan royal family, I think. Okay. Yeah. So these were states, in the place of Sakyans and the Koḷiyans. These were people, not states. A group of people, a race of people. So we have to start with the beginning, the origin of the Sakyans and the Koḷiyans. Okay. So it starts with this. At the beginning of the eon, that means beginning of the formation of this present eon. Then there is a king called Mahasammata. According to the Great Chronicles of Buddha, it is said that at that time the Mahasammata was a bodhisattva. I think it was our bodhisattva, like that. Then at that time, the people elected him. They selected him to help them to settle proper disputes and to do administrative work for the people. Then after that, in return, they give the Mahasammata some kind of tribute or money, for his services, like that. So in the beginning when beings was at the beginning of the eon, when beings were starting to function, they had this kind of a system. So the king was like a service facilitator to them. Okay. Anyway, so that great king, so he has, and then Roja's son was Vararoja. So no need to memorize the names, just listen to the story, okay? Vararoja's son was Koḷiyans, and then Koḷiyans, after that, for searching for a place to build a city, then they went, they passed by the dwelling place of a hermit called Kapila. Okay. So this Kapila of teak trees. Okay. So this Kapila hermit, on meeting them, he asked them, who are you guys? Why have you come here? You have so many people. And the princess reported their situation to them. After hearing about their report, so this Kapila had a lot of compassion for them. And it was said that he knew he had a skill where he could see virtues. He could see virtues and defects 40 meters upward in space, 40 meters down below ground. Okay. So this become the prey, and the prey become the predators, something like that. So the deers frighten the lions, and frogs frighten the snakes, etc. Then after that, after seeing this, he saw that this area is an excellent piece of land. So he built his hermitage in that area. And standing in this place, even the son of a Chandala will be more powerful than a wheel-turning monarch. So the Chandala is the most bottom and the lowest level of the caste system one. Usually they do a lot of the dirty works like cleaning up poop, cleaning up feces, cleaning the road, and emptying a lot of the things that people don't want to do, clearing rubbish, etc. Like that. The lowest of the lowest. But this Kapila hermit says, even standing Chandala would be more powerful than a wheel-turning monarch. So he gave them the place, and then he told them, when you build the city, build the king's house at my heritage place. He called 好風水啊. No, this one is just my side comment, okay? Anyway, so then he himself made a hermitage at the foot of a nearby mountain and lived there. Okay, so the princes they built up the city and established in the place where the hermit Kapila had lived. So they name it Kapila Watu, and make their residence there. In present-day Nepal, in the city of Kapilas Watu, this was the place. This is the same place in modern Nepal. Okay, it is in Lumbini area, and if you guys go, then when you stand in the Kapilas Vatu, then you can think about this story and recount that, oh, this was where the princes have built up their places like that. Okay, then after settling down, the 8 ministers they considered, oh, these princes have reached the age of maturity. If their father were around, he would have arranged their marriage. But now that is our responsibility. So they consulted, discussed with the princes. And the princess said that, we don't see any girls of the Katiya caste of our own status, or any Katiya youths of similar status for our sisters. Let us not crossbred. Crossbred over here means not pairing up with another, not marrying another from other caste. Okay, because they want it to be pure. They want the so-called caste or the lineages to be pure. So from fear of crossbreeding, then what did they do? Before I say this, I have to first explain that in different countries we have different cultures and different family systems. Okay, there's even some places in the world where the women are the leaders of the tribes, and men are just men are in an inferior positions. Okay. And also there may be places where there's one wife, many husbands. There may be one husband, many wives. Okay, so if we were to be born conditioned by either Western or by either Western values or religious values or Chinese values, Confucianism values, etc. But during different eras, there will be different cultures. So we when we understand this, we just take it that what I'm going to say is just the cultural norm during the era. Okay. Then we will not judge wrongly. It is wrong to use our modern day perspective to judge, something that has happened, a social norm in the past. We can analyze, we can give comments, but it is not. I think it is not fair to say, they are wrong, they are beasts, they are immoral or something. Because during that time, it may be moral to them. So who are we? Now if they look at us, they will think that we are immoral, right? So we have to be careful about this. Okay. Anyway, coming back to the story. So for the fear, because of the fear of crossbreeding, marrying out of their caste, they appointed their elder sister to the position of their mother, and then they married their other sisters. So 5 daughters, 4 sons, nine of them. They appointed their elder sister as the mother, and then the other 4 brothers and 4 sisters, they intermarry. Okay. So when their father heard this news, he was joyful, so we cannot pass judgment on them with our present, based on our modern day perspective. That's their era's perspective. Okay, so when their father heard this news, he was joyful and he said, "Oh, the princes are Sakyans indeed, sir." Like. So this was the origin of the Soon after, so this was the origin of the Sakyans. Then after a while, their eldest sister, whom they have appointed as their mother now, she contracted a skin disease, and her body became like, her skin became like coral flowers. Then the princess, they considered, if we interact with her, this disease will spread. So they put her in a vehicle, put her in a chariot probably, and as if they were going to play in the park, they will go around, and after entering the forest, they dug up a pit. A pit means a hole like that, maybe big one, and deposited a lot of food there. Then they cover it with a roof, plastered the roof, and left. Okay. Then at that time, at another kingdom, there was a king called King Rama. So this King Rama, he also had contracted a skin disease, and his harem and dancing girls found him to be very repulsive. So because of this, he was very agitated. And because of the agitation, he handed over the kingdom to his eldest son. Then he entered the forest. Sustain himself there on a leaf, and his body regained its golden complexion. Okay? Tree, that means a tree with a hole, okay? Tree with a hole. I've seen this kind of a tree before. It's like a tree kuti. So there's this very big tree. I saw that, somebody, he made a door he made a door at the hole, and then after that cover up the roof, cover up the hole on top, with a zinc roof, something like that. Anyway, so let's see. So this was what King Rama did. He built a home in a large perforated tree, and then he set up a fire in a fire pan, and as he lay down at night, he tried to hear the cries and growls of those animals, especially lions and all that, lions and tigers. So that he know, at this direction, a lion is making a kill there. Oh, and that direction, a tiger is making some noise over there. And then when it was day, he came out, and then he went over there, and he traced the lion and the tiger, the captured prey, the dead prey, and then he took the remains of their kill, and then he cooked it and ate it. Okay. So one day, at the approach of dawn, so he lit up a fire and sat down. Then at that time, a tiger had picked up the scent of the princess and was trying to duck into the area, making an opening in the roof boards. So when the princess saw the tiger through the opening, she was afraid and she cried out in distress. Then the king heard her cry, and then he realized, oh, that's the sound of a woman. So he went there, and then he asked, who is there? And she says, a woman, my lord. Then he says, come out. But the princess said, oh, no, I won't come out. Then the king asked, why not? Then the princess said, I am a Katiya woman. So this was because even though she was buried in a pit, she preserved her pride as a Katiya woman. Okay. Then he questioned her about everything, and also after that he informed her of his own social class also. He says, I'm also a Katiya also. Then he says, come, we are like ghee placed in the milk. So he says like we are family, like that. Okay. Then she says, I have a skin disease, my lord. I cannot come out. Then he told her, oh, skin disease, I'm experienced in this and I can cure you. So he gave her the ladder, lift her out from the pit, and then brought her to his own dwelling place. Okay. And then the king gave her the medicine that he himself had used before. And not long after, she recovered and regained her golden complexion. And because of staying with the king, so in the end, they fell in love. So they they fell in love. And then after that, he had a union with her, a physical union with her. And on the first union, after the first union, she became pregnant and gave birth to a twins. Then the next time she gave birth again to twins. So she gave birth 16 times, okay? And every time was a twin. So total she have 32 kids. So there were 32 brothers, okay? Not easy, yeah? When these 32 brothers, they reached maturity, their fathers trained them in all the warrior crafts, okay? And one day, there's a resident of King Rama's city. There he was searching for the gems in the mountains. Okay, he came to the region. Then when he saw the king, he recognized the king. And he said, "Oh, my king, I know you." Then when the king asked him where he had come from, then the king invited him in and then asked him about all the news about the city. When they were conversing, the boys came back. And on seeing them, the man said, "Oh, my king, who are they?" Then the king said, "Oh, they are my sons." And the resident said, "Oh, my king, what will you do now staying in the forest surrounded by 32 princes? Come back and rule the kingdom." Then the king Rama said, "Yeah, enough, my man. I'm happy here." Then being unable to convince the king, the man thought, "Okay, I better go back and inform the king's son, who is the present king." Okay, so he went back to the city, reported to the present king. So the present king thought, "Oh, I will bring my father back." So he gathered all his army and then went there and in various ways begged his father to return. But again, the old king replied, "Oh, enough, my dear boy. I'm happy here." Like that. Then the king considered, now my father doesn't wish to return. Okay, let me build a city for him here lah. So he uprooted that tree, made a house, and had a city built. Okay, because it was built in a place where they have removed a kola tree, so they call it Kola Nagara. Yeah, like that. And then because it was built along the pathways of tigers, that means tigers used to roam around the place. So he called it Tiger's Path, Tiger's Footpath also. So having given it two names, the king's sons departed. Okay, that means the current king. After a few years, after another few years, when the princes they reach maturity, so their mother instructed them, "Oh, my dear sons, the Sakyans living at Kapilavatu are your uncles. So go and take their daughters." Okay, because they will be pure Katiya girls. Okay. Then on the day that the Katiya girls of the Sakyans, they went to play in the river. The princess went there and then after that announced their name and then carry off whichever girl that they desire. When the Sakyan royalty heard about this, they say, "Oh, okay, let it be, man. They are our relatives." And then they kept silence. And then this was the origin of the Koḷiyans. And from there, generations by generations, their lineage was passed down generations to generations up to King Sihahanu. Then this King Sihanu had 5 sons, okay? And one of the sons was Suddhodana, the father of our Bodhisattva. And when Suddhodana was raging, he was king. I think they take turns to be kings. So our Bodhisattva, having fulfilled the paramis, passed away and was reborn in Queen Mahamaya's womb. Okay. After that, ultimately, our Bodhisattva made a great renunciation and attained perfect enlightenment, like that. And then set in motion the wheel of the Dhamma. And the Buddha, after traveling in stages to Kapilavatthu, so established his King Suddhodana and other many Sakyans in the noble fruits of enlightenment, and then departed to tour around the countryside. Okay. After that, on a later occasion, he returned along with 1,500 bhikkhus and stayed at Kapilavatthu in the Nigroda Park. Okay. And when the Buddha was staying there was a quarrel between the Sakyans and the Koḷiyans because of water. How did the dispute came about? So it was said that the river Rohini flow between Kapilavatthu and the Koḷiyan city. Okay, so sometimes the river, rivers sometimes got little water, sometimes got a lot of water. So when they were building the irrigation channels, the both sides argue with one another and insulted one another with reference to their social class. So they say, "Oh, your royal ancestors married their own sisters, like animals, like chickens, like dogs, etc." Then the other side say, "Oh, but your royal ancestors live in the hollows of trees like little goblins." Okay. Then so each side reported the dispute to their own kings, and the king, their armies are as vast as the sea. So the Buddha turned his attention to them and then realized, oh, my relatives have quarreled, I must stop them. So the Buddha arrived through the sky and stood between the two armies. Okay. And after that, the Buddha started to give a discourse, okay, give Dhamma talk. And after they heard that, and then also they talk about the origin of their ancestry. So after they heard that, they were all moved by a sense of urgency and discarded their weapons. Then they pay homage to the Buddha and prepare a comfortable seat for the Buddha. So the Buddha descended, sat down, and then after that, gave a few Jatakas, and also the great chronicle of their own lineage, like what we are giving now. So showing that they have been relatives for a long time already. So all of them were very pleased. So then they think that in the past, we were past. In the past, we were relatives. So 250 Sakyan youths and 250 Koḷiyan youths, they offered to accompany the Buddha. So the Buddha, having seen that they had previously accumulated wholesome karma of offering the 8 requisites, so the Buddha said, "Hey, bhikkhu," like that, and then they all became equipped with the 8 requisites produced by the power of their past karma. Okay, then the Buddha took them and went back to the great woods. But the wives of the youths sent messengers to them, and because of this, the new monks, they grew discontented with the holy life, realizing that the monks were discontented. So the Buddha one day took them and travel around, show them the Himalayas, and then after that, relate the Kunala Jataka. So over there, the Buddha gave the Kunala Jataka. And then after talking about after finishing the Kunala Jataka, the bhikkhus lost their longings for their former wives. Okay. Then the Buddha gave them a talk on the Four Noble Truths, and at the end of which, the least of them became a stream enterer, while others reached higher stages up to anagami, non-returner, like that. So there was not a single worldling among them, nor were there any arahant among them, either 1, 2, or 3. Then the Buddha took them again and descended in the great wood, like that. So when going, the Buddha took them with the Buddha's psychic power. When coming back, the bhikkhus came back by their own psychic power. So to lead them to the higher paths, the Buddha again taught them the Dhamma, and the 500 bhikkhus meditated, and then after that, finally became established in arahantship. Okay, so the first one who attained came up to the Buddha. So having arrived, the first arahant says, "Oh Buddha, I am enjoying it. I am not dissatisfied." So he paid respect to the Buddha and sat down to one side. So they all came in sequence and sat down around the Buddha. So this was in the evening of the Uposatha day in the month of Jeta. Jeta means like between May to June, like that. At that time, when the Buddha sat in his excellent seat, accompanied by the 500 arahants, the deities from the entire 10,000 world system, so except the non-percipient beings, okay, and the formless Brahmas. So this was what I mentioned in the beginning of the talk, because they didn't have the condition like that. So they didn't know. So they were already their minds already in the arupa jhana, like that, or the I think the sanya of non-percipient, like that. So the deities, there's so many deities. So what? How can they squeeze in India? Anyway, they created very subtle bodies, and then after that surrounded the Buddha, thinking that we will get to hear a inspirational Dhamma teaching, like that. So the Buddha looked up at the assembly of devas, so announced to the bhikkhus. Oh, bhikkhus, the deities that assemble before the Buddha of the past were at most like those now present before me, like that. And then those, the deities that will assemble before the Buddhas of the future will also be like the ones in front of me, like that. Then the Buddha, in his mind, he divided the assembly of devas into two types, whether they were capable or not capable. Then he knew that the assembly of the capable will not understand the Dhamma even if 100 Buddhas were to teach. Okay, but the assembly of the capable is able to understand it. So with that, again, he divided the capable devas into 6 types of temperament. So these many devas have a greedy or lustful temperament. This many have a hatred temperament, delusional temperament, investigative thought temperament, faith temperament, intelligent temperament, etc. So having categorized them by way of temperament, so he thought, what kind of Dhamma teaching should I give them? Then he tried to analyze, and then he asked himself, would they understand a teaching given through my own inclination or through the inclination of others, or because of a special incident or in response to a questions? This is the 4 occasions where a Buddha will give a talk. Okay, either through the Buddha's own inclination, or through the inclination of others, or because of special incident, or in response to a question. Okay, the 4 conditions where the Buddha will give a talk. Then the Buddha realized they will understand the teaching given in response to a question. Next, the Buddha turned his attention to the entire assembly, and then he asked himself, is there anyone able to ask a question? Then he found that there was no one who could do so. And the Buddha thought, oh, it would not be suitable for this assembly if I were both the questioner and the answer and the answerer. So let me create a mind-created Buddha. With that, the Buddha, with his psychic power, created a mind-created Buddha coming from the Eastern world system, and sat down on a seat that was on an even level with that of the Buddha. Okay, and at this gathering, the Buddhas gave few discourses for the different temperaments. For example, before the breakup sutta, quarrels and disputes sutta, smaller discourse on deployment sutta, the greater discourse on deployment sutta, quickly sutta, and this discourse on proper wandering sutta. Okay. So this sutta was expounded to be suitable for devas of greedy temperament, like that. And that is the origin of this Proper Wandering Sutta. Very long story, very interesting, quite interesting. Today, listen to the story. So what will be in this discourse that will be suitable for the devas of greedy or lustful temperament? Would they be helpful to us? Would they be beneficial to us? How can we take the learnings from this? If you go to Nepal, there are also Sakyan people, and there's also Koḷiyans, I'm not sure, but there's also descendants of the Lichavis, the Lichavis, I think most of them, they stay near Patan. They stay around Patan. There's a lot of Lichavis they say that literally Tao is Arat, okay, is in Kathmandu. So those who are interested in this in looking up at this historical sites and culture, and get a feel of how was it like during the Buddha's time. I mean, just imagine, of course, but at least you get a feel of it, and then you get to feel the culture and the the depth of the culture of these people, like that. Huh? Okay, so with that, wish all of you well, peaceful and happy, and may the Triple Gem bless all of us to be able to attain the path, fruition, and nibbana as soon as possible. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So let us share merits. Okay. Ettavata cha mehi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe deva numodanto sabba sampadi siddhya. Ettavata cha mehi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta numodanto sabba sampadi siddhya. Ettavata cha mehi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe sattha numodanto sabba sampadi siddhya. Idame nyati nam hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idame nyati nam hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idame nyati nam hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Himina punya kamena mame bala samagamo. Satang samagamo hotu yavanimbana patiya. Idame punyang asawa kaya vahangotu. Idame punyang nimbana sapachayo hotu. Vama punya bagang sabba satanang bhajemi. Te sabbe me samang punya bagang labantu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.